Hello and welcome back everyone. Andy Bryan here again from the Soul Pathway, and today within this video I wanted to speak with you about the source of all healing. Now, as with all of my other videos, these are my personal views and perspectives and ideas that have come to mind, and today I'm obviously going to be speaking about the source of all healing so that we can live happy, content and fulfilled lives, and so that we can step into who we truly are as individuals, so that we can break free from the past, our conditioned mindset and ego, live from our soul and what sets our soul on fire every day, and more importantly within this video is heal from shadow aspects that are holding us down, keeping us locked away, so that we can be who we truly are. Now you may be wondering, is there truly a source for all healing? Now there are so many different therapies and modalities when it comes to healing, but I personally believe in many ways that it all comes back to two essential things. And for me it's about love and forgiveness. As we bring those two together, we learn to not only love ourselves, but forgive ourselves for what it is that we have done to ourselves in many ways. Because I believe we are very good at placing judgments on ourselves, and in many ways that can bog us down and cause us to feel lack in some way, shape or form. But forgiveness for me is a big thing. And I remember doing a project many years ago called the Forgiveness Project, where I interviewed, it was approximately 14 people within the space of a week and a half. And these were different coaches, therapists and healers who spoke about forgiveness. And each and every one of them had their own perspectives on what forgiveness meant to them and how we can learn to forgive. But for me it was quite a profound learning, and it's something that I always come to reflect upon as I look at my own life and I think about the forgiveness that I need to place not only on myself but also others that enter my life or that are with me on a daily basis. And the reason why I mention forgiveness is because often we look at our family and we look at the traumas that have been passed on to us. For example, our parents may have mistreated or abused us, so they've passed on their traumas to us. And when you come to think about the traumas that they've gone through in order to abuse and mistreat us in many ways, they must have so much pain that they act out of that place of the shadow. And so if you go back to that, you think about the conditioning that has been placed upon them to bring about pain and discomfort to you, and then the grandparents that have placed that upon them, and then it goes back further and further and further. And what you come to realize is that it's in many ways the collective conditioning that has been passed down from generation to generation. And we can hold on to that pain, resentment and bitterness towards those people that have hurt us and that have abused us. And in many ways, when we're going through the deep darkness and pain, we can project that upon them, which is, in many ways, it can feel natural, because as with everything, there is a process to healing and transformation. But for me, in many ways, it goes back to forgiveness. Because if you think about those cycles that have been repeated over and over from generation to generation to generation, and if we're not forgiving those that have harmed us or abused us, then we're only carrying on that mantle for ourselves, because we're not healing and loving ourselves. Because we need to come to realize that they have had their own journey, they have had their own pain, their own darkness. Yes, it's been passed on to us, but we need to come from a place of loving ourselves and appreciating the fact that they've gone through their own pain and darkness. And everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own story. And if we can begin to learn to break that cycle and forgive ourselves, then we can move forward with much more greater ease. And then that comes back to love. Love is the most powerful thing in the universe, in the world. And if we can come from a place of love and honour of everybody on their journeys, all of those people that we meet on a daily basis, then we can transform that pain and that hurt. As I watched a film called Shack recently, or The Shack, and it really made me think about all the pain and the darkness that people have gone through in order to perform certain acts that could be seen as, incredibly dark and incredibly wrong in this world. And I remember the father had his son killed by this man in the film, and he had so much bitterness and resentment towards the person that had killed her daughter. And he had this very much awakening, soul awakening, and he connected with, the father of the man that killed his daughter. And he came to realize that the pain that the man was in order to abuse and even kill the daughter was very, very extreme in order for him to do what he's done. But he learned to realize the process of forgiveness that he had to place onto the man that sadly killed his daughter. For he started to realize the pain that was inflicted upon him. And he started to realize the repeated cycles that were happening as they were passed down. And what he realized within himself was that if he held on to this bitterness and resentment, that it would be passed on to future generations as well. And he didn't want that for himself, and he didn't want that for his children. For he wanted his children to be loved, honoured, respected, and know that this world is full of love and joy, if only we allow ourselves to notice it in the moments. But I also remember a story that goes back to school, really. I had a friend at school many years ago, and he was a good man. He was a good guy, and a very loving and caring person, actually. And I left school and I didn't really keep in contact. He was a friend, but not a very close friend. But what I came to realise that when he was at college, if I go back to school first of all, he was very much bullied at school, and he was very much in a place of hurt because of his weight, and he was always ridiculed because of it, which was a real shame. And it was deep sadness that came from me to know what he was going through. And it carried through to college. And when he got to college, the pain just built up in him over and over and over again. So much so that he wanted to kill the people that bullied him. And he woke up one morning, and I remember reading the newspapers, and I think he had killed his father, first of all, and he was going to try and kill his mother because he didn't want the shame and guilt of then killing his bullies, the people that were bullying him. And he didn't want his parents to feel that shame and guilt. So he wanted to kill them first. But for me, this brought deep sadness, because the man I knew at school was a man that was loving and sensitive. And the traumas that were passed on to him were very deep wounds, especially when it comes to childhood, when people are going through these deep, dark experiences of being bullied and ridiculed. It can really shock them and cause them to feel such a lack of self-worth and self-esteem that they'll do anything that they can. Not that I condone any of this, because yes, it's not right, it is wrong. But you think about what is in the minds of these people to cause them to do the things that they do. And I do believe in many ways it comes back to a lack of self-love. For if he began to love himself at the deepest and corest of levels, then there would be no need for any of this drastic action in order for him to do what he did. And, you know, he can pass that pain to future generations from the choices he made. And yet, if we go to look at his actions and what caused him from the root cause, it was the fact that all that pain and trauma that he experienced from school, from a very, very young age, was carried through, and it kept on going deeper and deeper and deeper. So for me, when looking at all this stuff and revisiting, first of all, we need to forgive ourselves, because if we forgive ourselves for what it is that we've gone through, especially when it comes to childhood, it's not our fault. It's not our fault that we've gone through certain experiences of pain, deep sadness. It's the fault of those generations that have been passed on to us, that have brought the hurt to us and passed on their own traumas through their own experiences. But you could say that it's not the fault of theirs, because the fault of theirs was from their ancestors, from their parents. So we need to stop this vicious cycle, and we need to learn the act of loving ourselves to the deepest of levels, because that's the most beautiful place that we can reach. But it's not easy. And for me, it starts with forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves and forgiving our past. Forgiving those that have brought pain upon to us. And forgiving those people that may do that in the future. For you come to realise the pain and darkness that they've had to endure in order to act out in certain ways, and placing that pain upon to you. And it's also forgiving people in the respect of knowing that they are on their own journey. They've got their own learnings, they've got their own healing to go through in order to learn to love themselves. And this is what transformation for me is all about. Because when we learn that act of forgiveness first, and then learn to grow ourselves like the seed grows and blossoms into a beautiful flower, what we learn to do is love that. We learn to love the process of growth as we love ourselves and forgive ourselves through what even that we place upon others at times, if we do cause pain to others without even thinking about it. As long as we can begin to acknowledge that, forgive ourselves, and then pass that love on to others, and use, the beautiful and special word of, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I didn't mean to do that. And then we begin to love ourselves, then we can transcend to a beautiful place of healing and transformation. And I really wanted to share this video with you today, as I believe we're at a place where we need to think about not only healing and loving ourselves, but also loving the planet and Mother Earth, because we are in a time of great need, and we need to transform from a place of destruction, where it's a place of destroying ourselves and the world around us, to a place of loving ourselves and loving the world, and treating it with a place of love and respect, and so that we can live in joy and harmony with all that those that live upon it. And I wanted to leave by saying that Ho'oponopono is a fantastic healing, methodology, and it very much connects with love and forgiveness. And as you think about forgiving yourself, first of all, and then stepping into a place of love, What I'd love for you to do is to step into this place and use this phase in your meditations, in your mindfulness thoughts, as you go about your life, and live from that place of love. So let me share that with you today. And I want you to think about those people that have caused you pain, those people that have caused you harm, or even the pain and harm that you've inflicted upon yourself. And as you think about these and these things that come to mind, I want you to think about using Ho'oponopono in order to release that, to step into a place of love. Let me share that with you now. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I want you to feel that. I want you to feel that as you connect with those words, and you connect with a vision of those people, or even a vision of yourself. And again, say to yourself, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And for me, this will bring about the most beautiful and incredible transformation. Thank you for listening today, connecting with my story, connecting with my video. I wish you all the best on your journey and soul pathway. And with that, I will say, much love. Bye for now.